Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas to all. Welcome back to Lockdown Universe, home of the bizarre, peculiar, and unheard of stories of UFO legend and paranormal lore. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy to be back. Hopefully, you guys are doing excellent and taking care of yourselves. We're getting the cave a little bit more decorated for the holiday season. As you can see, we've got a few comic stands here. We've got Batman coming across. We've got the incredible battle of the king size special, the Hulk. If you're an Iron Man fan, we've got Iron Man right behind me. We've got Jack and Sally from Nightmare Before Christmas fame, and one of my favorite, the Flash. So if you're a comic fan, welcome aboard. If you're not, it's okay too. So new information has come to light. New information about the Miami alien invasion, apparently, of the mall. So a couple new things that I've researched and discovered today I wanted to bring to you because this story is probably one of the more fascinating stories of recent years, and I feel like it warrants a few episodes. And if we get some new information, I want to bring that. So the new information that we received today was that there was a gentleman who was not a witness. His father was. Now, you might say, okay, well, that's fine and dandy, but let's hear about him. His father just so happens to be a police officer with the Miami City police department. And he stated, he didn't state, he actually shows a video where he calls his dad on video. So you can see the dad on the video, and you see this gentleman, probably about 30 or so. He calls his dad, and he's like, Dad, what's going on with this Miami alien stuff? What can you tell me? His dad straight up. Now, this is a guy who's running for office. He's running for sheriff. He's a police officer now. He's older. He looks like he's like 55 maybe or something like that. He says, son, I can't talk about that. Well, as the son of a police officer, he kind of knows how to interrogate people and what questions to ask. So he starts continuing to ask his dad, okay, Dad, well, I get it. You can't tell me, exactly everything. But can you tell me why there was such a huge police presence there? Now, the official report is that they came there because there was like a gang fight with kids with sticks. His dad says, I can't talk to you about that. Okay, we're getting a little bit more interesting now. Now he can't even say anything about the fact that they just showed up, even though the official report is that there was kids there. Okay. Hey, Dad, okay, you can't tell me about that. Are you being serious? And his dad comes out and says, son, how many ways do you want me to slice this pie? I cannot talk about this. And the dad is acting exactly like many people who are under fire, are under investigation. They say, I cannot talk about this. I cannot talk about this. This is not something I'm able to talk about. So we have a police officer from Miami who was on scene, who's running for sheriff. So this guy's clearly higher up there, telling his son, I cannot even talk about it. Holy shit. So here we go, right? Because, yes, they can't talk about typical ongoing investigations, but they can generally tell you what's going on with the scenario. If there's a person who was murdered, or if there was a person that was injured, or a fire, they can say, right now all we know is there was a fire, and that's all we can say. Right now all we know is there's a body that we found. That's all we can say. It's an ongoing investigation. Fine and dandy. His dad is specifically saying, I can't even talk about it. So now we have to look a little bit deeper. Now we have to say, okay, he can't talk about it. Was he forced to sign an NDA, non-disclosure agreement, by the government while they were down there? Because witnesses actually stated they saw men in suits down there, men in suits that look like government agents as well. So we might have had a combination of police force and government agents whatever they were, CIA, MIB, dark government, dark ops, whatever. They may have had actual government individuals. They're having them sign NDAs. And under threat, under duress, saying, hey, if you talk about this at all, we're going to take away your pension. And that dude clearly is an older guy. He's clearly been on the force for close to 20 years or over 20 years. He's not going to lose his pension, man. That's money you need right now for this economy. You need to live, especially after you retire. So, here's Jack. Get him in the picture a little bit. So, that's one piece of the puzzle. The second piece of the puzzle is many witnesses now have come forward and made videos stating that they were stopped at the gates outside by police and having them erase, going into their phone, erasing any videos, any pictures that were taken in the last hour. Now, here's what's interesting, okay? Now, that's interesting by itself, but what's even more interesting is that there was an ex-Navy SEAL who was on the Sean Ryan program. He's got a podcast, big podcast, like Joe Rogan podcast, that big. And this ex-SEAL said, a lot of people don't know this, but we have the technology, the government has the technology to erase or to listen in on you, even if you take your battery out of your phone. How the hell can they do that when there's no energy going into the microchip? He says these microchips are designed so much differently now that they can listen in, they can delete things, they can go in there and take care of this stuff. I've heard stories in the past about people who have taken video of UFOs and they've gone back in and they were completely erased from their Google Photos, their Apple Cloud, whatever they have. And there's no way to get that back once it's deleted. So wouldn't it be interesting if, the government agents told, the chief of police, hey, stop everybody you can, eliminate any pictures or videos you can, and, we'll do the rest. Wouldn't it be interesting if there's a lot of people who went home and said, hey, I don't have any video. I took this video that I didn't get stopped by the cops. It's not in there, And a lot of people also said that their cell phones weren't working at the time, which if you listen to my previous podcast and where I talked about these teenagers that opened up this DVD player size device and opened up a portal and caused all kinds of digital disturbances, if that was the case and they were opening up another dimension, then their cell phones would not have worked. Their cell phones would have been kind of like getting scrambled, right? Like if you have a scrambler on your television or you're trying to access a channel that, us as kids tried to access probably. And there was a scrambler on there on a cable channel, kind of like that. So we have these two stories now where you have the sheriff, or you have the police officer who's working towards being a sheriff saying he can absolutely not talk about it, period. That, to me, sounds like all of the Black Ops projects where people are asked and they're saying, hey, I can't talk about it, period. I can't tell you what I do. I can't tell you what I saw. I can't tell you anything. That's protecting their own ass. That's protecting their own assets. That's protecting their family. Okay, great. Now you have these people stating that they were stopped by police officers and other agents and had their phones, basically erased. Another story is that there was a witness who was at this location, but he wasn't with his friends. He was also running out because his friends were running out. And when they got away from this area, these friends forgot why they were even running. The friend who was farther away said, hey, I heard something over the chatter, the police chatter, that there was aliens in there, because there was police chatter over the radio that other witnesses with video camera picked up. So there was police chatter about it. There's people who forgot why they were even running away. So now we have this MIB scenario where a lot of people are now saying they don't even remember being there. They don't remember why they were running. Now they're starting to talk about missing time, even though there's proof that they were there because other people knew they were in there and they were outside, but outside of the police zone. And so we have these three news stories where there's people forgetting, there's people that are having their phones erased, there's people who've talked to their family members who were there. And this story just continues to build. And of course, this is the way stories build, right? Is that we get a little information off the top, 8 to 10 foot tall aliens. Then we get a little bit more information, like we were talking about yesterday, the witness who saw the portal open up and aliens walking through, and them kind of having this jittery kind of walk to them where they were interdimensional, where he stated, one of the witnesses stated that, when you're inside of a dimension and coming outside of a dimension, that they had some knowledge on science. And when you blend a dimension together, it's not going to be a nice, smooth transition. Our dimension is smooth because we're part of it, but if another dimension tried to layer itself on top of it and then us being able to see it, it's kind of like having like the old VHS tapes and recording over the top of an old show and then blending together right in the middle. It would kind of snow over and you'd see kind of both of them at the same time or one right after the other, and it's choppy. That's how these beings were kind of walking. And the very last witness that I'd just seen a video of, she was underneath the name America, it was spelled differently though, and she stated that she was in the mall. She saw this scaly being, about 7 to 8 feet tall, scaly being, but she thought it was a person in a suit. And then she walked past and she was like, okay, whatever, not even thinking about it because she was just walking with her family. And then she heard all these screams and, behind her, maybe 50 feet away. And she looks around, she's like, what the hell? And all these people run. And she was a curious person. She started to walk into the people that were running away from this thing. She's trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And she goes in there and she sees this being plus a bunch more beings that look just like this being, scaly, sounds reptilian, 7 to 8 feet tall. And she stated that she was still not 100% convinced they were aliens until this thing started to make an unhuman sound or inhuman sound. And it really freaked her out enough that innately she felt that this thing was not human. So she said, I'm getting the hell out of here. She took her kids or grandkids and she rolled out and ran away. But she stated she wasn't stopped by the police or, she was able to remember it. And there are a few people that are able to remember it. Isn't it interesting? Because we have this history knowledge base of people basically getting abducted, missing time, forgetting about it, having screen memories put over them, even with military abductions, which are done by the military, not by aliens, where they're able to basically screen your memory, put a screen memory over you and you're not being able to remember it. Is it possible in this particular instance, there was just too many damn people at this mall and they weren't able to put a screen memory over all of them or wipe their memory or have them do the Will Smith, Tommy Lee Jones, hey, look at this red light. And maybe not all of them looked at the red light and they were able to get through. But there's more videos coming out now, and there is a top-down helicopter video. And I talked about this yesterday where it looks like this creature's gliding. There's been people who have used a little bit more digital compression on those videos. And you can see this creature a little bit better. I'm not saying it's 100% clear, but you can see this creature moving a little bit better and it's a little bit more detailed. And it does look like a strange movement from this creature. It doesn't necessarily look human. It doesn't necessarily look smooth. And these witnesses stated that these things looked like they were fading in and out of existence, where they would pop in and then they would just disappear and then pop in over here again and then just disappear, almost like they were from another dimension or they were like overlaid with our dimension where the frequency was coming in, going out. Maybe they were walking in one continuous motion, but because of the frequency of their dimension, they were just popping in here and then out and then in and then out and then in, so that it would look choppy, but in all reality, they were just walking. A lot of people said these beings were gliding. They weren't even walking. So that's even weirder. And we just have more and more witnesses coming out and talking about it. So the mystery continues, man, and the mysteries in real life are real mysteries until they're solved. You know, funnily enough, I put out a bunch of holiday lights out on my lawn. There's like 18 of them, and they all disappeared except for like two. And I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, there has to be squirrels. And sure enough, like a couple weeks later, I talked to my neighbors, and I'm like, I don't know what happened to these lights. It's a mystery. And they're like, oh, it's no mystery. The squirrels came, picked them up, and they buried them in our yard. You see, these mysteries unfold sometimes, and they take maybe a few days, maybe they take a few weeks. But, typically we get more and more information, and it's not going to come from the government. It's not going to come from the mainstream media. Keep that in mind, because there's NBC, ABC, they're all putting out there, people talking about these interdimensional beings. Police have confirmed that. Of course, police are going to confirm. Police are going to just lie their ass off to you so you feel safe. Remember Fife Symington from down there at the Phoenix Lights? What was he, the governor or the mayor, whatever the hell he was? Brought out an alien in an alien suit, not an alien, a human in an alien suit, saying it was their fault. It was just this, person in a fake alien suit. That was the government. He was the government. He was lying to us all. So, when people say, oh, you don't believe in your government, you don't believe in, in authority, I don't know who they are, and I don't know what their intentions are, and I don't know what their purposes are, their needs are. Everybody's different. So, no, until you get an average Joe on the street and you believe them, in which you can use your human intuition to differentiate whether or not somebody's telling you the truth or lying, it's only then that we can start to corroborate, right? What do they say? Reality is the corroboration of multiple people agreeing on a viewpoint of reality, of what they see, a perception. So we'll see as this continues to unfold. So I hope you guys stay with us. We're going to continue to bring you different perspectives, different witnesses, and hopefully you guys enjoy. As new alien information comes out, if a different story comes out tomorrow, we'll be bringing that to you as well. We're staying on top of this because now we're really getting into the heart of either disclosure or Project Bluebeam or somebody opening up a portal, and we need to find out what it is. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys take care of yourselves. Stay positive, stay in the light, follow through on your hobbies and your goals and your dreams. Make a goal board. I bought a whole bunch of whiteboards, and I'm writing my goals down for 2024. I want to push into the podcast arena, the videocast arena a little bit more. Again, continuing to develop the lab and continue to bring you stories. And I have other goals too, other goals that I want to achieve. And so keep working on your goals. Keep positive. Bring love and light to your family. Continue to question the universe around you. And as always, please like, follow, share, subscribe, and I will catch you on the flip trip. Lockdown Universe out.